Hello students, welcome to online classes of Sri Mahavir International School, Kishangarh Rainwar. I hope you all are well at your home. And you know that we are discussing about chapter number 7 of Revolt of 1857 in previous video. Today we also discuss about chapter 7 of Revolt of 1857, and in previous video we have discussed about the causes of revolt of 1857. Means there was some causes like political causes, economic causes, social and religious causes, military causes, and immediate causes. All these we have discussed in previous video. In political causes, we have discussed that the Lord Dalhousie's policy of doctrine of lapse is the main causes in the political, and there was no high post of Indian sepoys. We have discussed about economic causes also, that there was some policies and some tax that imposed by the British officer, and social and religious causes. We also discussed that the Charter Act of 1830, that was the main reason in the social and religious causes. And military causes also, we have discussed that there was a oath that the Indian soldiers were go outside the country for the Britain, and there was no extra payment or bhatta for the Indian soldiers, and the salary was also very low. And in immediate causes, we have discussed that the British introduced new Enfield rifle, and in this rifle, the cartridge, the grease was used of the fat of the cows and pig. That's why the Hindu and Muslim were opposed and started revolt of 1857. Now we will discuss spread of the revolt. The soldiers initially were simplify protesting against the use of the grease cartridge. It means the soldiers started opposing the grease cartridge or Enfield rifle, but the government neglected their protest. But the government neglected these protests instead on the use of cartridge and punished those who refused to obey them. In the first quarter of 1857, when the soldiers of the 19th Regiment at Barakpur refused to use the grease cartridge, their leaders were punished and the regiment was disbanded. It means first time the regiment at Barakpur, the 19th Regiment at Barakpur started refusing the using of the Enfield rifle or grease carton, but the British government started punishing them, and the regiment was disbanded. In March, Mangal Pandey of the 34th Regiment fired at his sergeant major and asked his co- comrades to revolt against the British in defense of their caste and religion. And first time the Mangal Pandey started revolting against the 34th Regiment and fired, and it means he killed the sergeant major and British in defense of their caste and religion, but he and one of his active comrades were captured and tried and executed. Executed, it means hanging and फांसी पे लटकाना. In April 1857, 85 soldiers of a cavalry regiment at Meerut refused to use the grease cartridge. They were punished with 10 years of rigorous imprisonment and disgraced publicly. On 10 May, the 3rd Cavalry Regiment at Meerut revolted, and the infantry also became a party to it. And first time the revolt of 1857 started on 10 May, that revolted by the 3rd Cavalry Regiment and from Meerut. The soldiers released the prisoners, killed some English officers and civilians, and marched to Delhi. After that, the soldiers, they released their prisoners, they killed some British officer, and they march, or it means they went to the Delhi. They captured Delhi on 12 May, and it means the soldiers control over the Delhi on 12 May, and Bahadur Shah II was proclaimed the Emperor of India, and again the Bahadur Shah Jafar or Bahadur Shah II was proclaimed. It means declare the Mughal Emperor or Emperor of India. Soon the revolt covered the entire territory from Delhi to Bihar in the east, and slowly the revolt started most of the part of the country in June. Revolts occurred in Lucknow, Kanpur, and Jhansi, and there was also a revolt in Lucknow, Kanpur, and Jhansi in June. In Kanpur, Nana Sahib became the leader of the rebel, and the leader of in the Kanpur revolt was the Nana Sahib, and in Jhansi was the leader of revolt was Rani Lakshmi Bai. Challenged the British in Bihar. The Kuwar Singh undertook the leadership of the rebels. It means the in Bihar the leadership done by the Kuwar Singh, and in Lucknow, the rebel organized under the leadership of Begum Hazrat Mahal. In Lucknow, the Begum Hazrat Mahal done the leadership of the rebellion. In Punjab, the British disarmed the Indian soldiers. The soldiers protested against it at 1 or 2 years, but they were forced to yield. The soldiers revolted at some places in Rajasthan, Gwalior, and Indore, but they were easily suppressed. In the soldiers also revolted in Rajasthan, Gwalior, and Indore, but in some places, but they were easily suppressed and repressed. The revolt spread to 1 or 2 places in South India, but the attempt of revolt in places like Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, and Sindh were thwarted. In South India, only 1 or 2 places the revolt was took place. Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, Jhansi, and Gwalior remained the center of the revolt, and the main center of the revolt of 1857 were Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, Jhansi, and Gwalior. No native ruler participated in the revolt. It means not at a particular ruler not participate in the revolt. On the content, contrary, some ruler of Punjab, Rajasthan, on the country, some ruler of Punjab, Rajasthan, and South India helped the British in suppressing the revolt. But some ruler of Punjab, Rajasthan, and South India they helped the British officer to suppressing the revolt of 1857. Now, suppression of the revolt. How did the revolt suppressed by British government? Lord Canning. Lord Canning was the Governor General at the time of the revolt of 1857. Lord Canning, the Governor General, took immediate steps to suppress the revolt. He collected the forces of Madras, Bombay, Sri Lanka, and Burma, and ordered to loyal Sikh army to proceed to Delhi immediately. Means Lord Canning collect the force of Madras, Bombay, Sri Lanka, Burma, and the Sikh army. It means they together, collect together and order them to go the Delhi immediately. The rebel by that time had lost Delhi too, and the rebellion they lost the Delhi again by these army. The British occupied Delhi in September 1857, and again the controlling over the Delhi undertook the British government in September 1857. Two sons of Bahadur Shah were killed, and he himself was deported as a prisoner to Rangoon, where he died in 1862. And two sons of Bahadur Shah were killed by the British officer, and the Bahadur Shah Jafar sent to the Rangoon as a prisoner, and he died in Rangoon in 1862. Rani Lakshmi Bai fled from Jhansi and joined hands with Tatya Tope, who had assumed the leadership of the rebel army at Gwalior, and Rani Lakshmi Bai also went to the Gwalior, where Tatya Tope was leadershiping of the rebel. They joined the Gwalior army, but the British captured Gwalior in June 1858. But the Gwalior also controlled by the British government in June 1858. The Rani was killed in battle by Sir Hugh Roach on 18 June 1858, and Rani Lakshmibai also killed by the British officer Sir Hugh Roach in 18 June 1858. Tatya Tope managed to get away but was captured later and executed. And Tatya Tope also captured and executed. It means hanged, फांसी पे लटका दिया गया. The revolt of Khan Bahadur Khan at Bareilly and that of Kuwar Singh at Jagdishpur in Bihar were also suppressed. It means they also repressed by British government. Nana Sahib and Begum Hazrat Mahal were believed to have fled to Nepal and died there afterward. And Nana Sahib and Begum Hazrat Mahal, they went to the Nepal and they were died in the Nepal. A few local uprisings continued for some time, but by July 1858, all protests were over. It means till the July 1858, the revolt of 1857 was suppressed. Now, failure of the revolt. What are the reasons for the failure of the revolt of 1857? When the revolt started, the Indian sepoy outnumbered the British soldiers. They were also supported by the citizens in large number. The rebel occupied Delhi in the initial stage of the revolt and disrupted the communication between Agra to Calcutta. The British thus were seriously crippled in the beginning, yet they succeeded in suppressing the revolt very soon. The reason for their success and the eventual failure of the revolt were manifold. First point, revolt had a limited scope. It means the area of the revolt were limited to Delhi, Meerut, Awadh, Bihar, Rohilkhand and their neighboring territory. It means the revolt of 1857 took place in a limited area like Delhi, Meerut, Awadh, Bihar, Rohilkhand and the neighboring territory. The entire South India, Punjab and the territory toward its north and west, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Madhya Bharat, it means, and Bengal remain or aloof from the revolt. It means that area like Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Bharat, Bengal, they remain untouched by the revolt of 1857. Next point, lacking of planning. It means the lack of planning also the reason for the failure of the revolt. The primary cause of the failure of the revolt, however, were lack of planning and the absence of a central organization. The rebel lacked an ideology and program for the captured areas. Next point, lack of military skill to match the British forces. It means the Indian army, Indian soldiers have lack of technique comparison British forces. The rebels lacked skill, military strategy and discipline as compared to the British. They fought mostly with sword and spear while the British were using newly introduced rifle. It means in battle the British government used rifle but Indian did not have this type of technique. Next point, attitude of the rulers. Many rulers, including those of Patiala, Jind, Gwalior, Hyderabad, and the King of Nepal, refused to help the rebels and gave armed support to the British. When some rulers of Patiala, Jind, Gwalior, Hyderabad, and the Nepal, they refused to support of the Indian soldiers and they support to the British soldiers, British army. Limited support. The educated Indian and the upper and the middle class did not support the rebel. It means in revolt of 1857, the educated Indian upper class, middle class, they did not support the Indian soldiers. On the country, they supported the British, but they supported the British soldiers. Next point, weak leadership. The leadership of the revolt was weak and it was not organized under one person or one command. It means the revolt was spreading in different area, and in different areas a different leader was there. The leaders of the revolt like Emperor Bahadur Shah, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Nana Sahib, and Tatya Tope, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and other neither plan nor coordinate with one another as one unit. It means these leaders they did not unite in one. Now changes after 1857. Now what were the changes after the revolt of 1857? The revolt of 1857 resulted in significant changes in the administrative structure and the policies of the government. The Queen Victoria issued a proclaim in 1858, means new Act was declared by Queen Victoria in 1858 that transferred the administrative power of the company to the British Crown. Now the power came to the British Crown. The Queen proclaim put an end to the company's rule, and now the ruling of company was ended by the Queen Victoria. These were changes introduced by the Queen Proclamation of 1858. Means some changes they done by the Proclamation of or the Act of 1858. First, the British East India Company rule came to the end. When the company ruling was ended and the controlling came to the British Crown. The Board of Control and Court of Directors were abolished. Now two board of Control and Court of Directors were abolished. In its place, a Secretary of State for India and the Indian Council were created. New board create like Secretary of State for India and the Indian Council were created. The army was thoroughly reorganized and the proportion of British soldiers was increased. In army, the British soldiers were increased. Indians were divided into martial and non-martial races and regiments were raised on the basis of caste and region such as Sikh regiment or Jat regiment. The policy of territorial annexation was also brought to the end. Means the territorial annexation policy also ended by the British Crown. Unconditional and general pardon was given to the rebel except those responsible for the murder of British subjects, and the British Parliament passed the Government of India Act of 1858. These were the changes after the revolt of 1857. I think, dear student, you have understand the chapter. Now we will do the question answer of this chapter in your SST notebook. Question number A, B, C, and D. You will fill in the book, and question number E, F, G. You will do the answers of these questions in your SST notebook. Thank you and have a nice day.